they'll have access to it there. This is going to be our second shoot that we do. So on your notes, I want you to write down second shoot. We're going to focus on flowers, portrait pictures of you and your classmates, or if you do this at home over the weekend, of you and your siblings or parents or grandparents, whoever you want, and landscapes. I know we already shot landscapes last week, but I'm going to show you a specific style. This photographer right here, Aaron Siskind, he had a very specific style, and we're going to try to mimic that today and over the weekend. So the first one, flowers. We don't have very many on campus. Again, Mr. May brought in some, so we're going to be able to borrow from him, and we have materials that his kids can borrow from us. But this is just an example. When you shoot flowers, you want to get as close as possible. You want to try to blur the background while the foreground is in focus. You can use your portrait setting on your phone. And this is called depth of field. I want you to write that down. Depth, D-E-P-T-H, depth of field, F-I-E-L-D. Depth of field is when you have your object in the foreground is in focus and the background has been blurred out. The depth of that is how much the background is blurred. Depth of field. There's a trick for this in Photoshop, and I'll show it to you how to do it later. But that's just what you should try for. When you're taking pictures of flowers today, I want you to make sure that you're like, okay, what's going to be in focus, and what am I going to blur out either with my phone or in Photoshop? We also have black foam backgrounds. Everybody look up here. These guys. We're going to take these out, and you're going to place them behind the flower so that the background will be completely dark, focusing the eye on the actual flower. Okay? It looks a lot different when your background is filled with dirt and weeds. And when you place a black background behind it, it looks nicer. You can also experiment, hopefully, maybe even getting on the ground, shooting upward. That's the blue sky in the background there. So instead of a black background, this student chose to shoot with the sky behind it. You can try that. These are all examples of what students have shot in the past. I don't think anything will have moisture on it today because it's so hot. We're also going to experiment with reflectors. Now, a reflector, we have these white ones too, these white foam cores. And a reflector is when you can actually bounce light off. When the sun comes down, it'll actually bounce off this white sheet right here and give you another light source. So instead of really harsh shadows, you can actually light your person from a different angle. So today, we're going to practice with reflectors. And I actually have a YouTube video that we're going to watch right now. We are going to be using reflectors for your portrait shots today. And again, experiment with the placement of each one, the angle. I'm going to let's go down, let's see, more of this, more of that. Today, when you guys are taking pictures, again, we're going to have the subject of your photo, the person working the reflector, and then the photographer. And we're going to go out there, try to do this as fast as possible. Again, stay out of the sun. as much as we can today, but get as many pictures as you can. Now, while you do this, I want you guys to remember your compositions. This person is clearly using the triangle composition right there. Leading lines. We're going to be outdoors. Same places before of last week, so same quads, okay? And try to use the environment. Obviously, we don't have a lot of foliage, but try to find the place that you want to take your photo. And when you're taking portrait shots, it's really important not to have other people in the background. This is about one person, one subject. And if you have somebody like back here taking photos of somebody else over here, it's distracting. So you're going to have to try and choose the time, the exact time. This is back in the day when we had grass. Oh my gosh. You will notice that you are going to get bounce off of the cement. It actually acts as a natural reflector, so keep that in mind when you're taking your photos. So our goal is to get pictures of flowers, portraits, trying to use our reflectors in that instance, and then landscapes. Now, I told you guys at the beginning of this, where was it? This photographer right here, Aaron Siskind. I want you to write that down in your notes. Aaron Siskind. He took landscape photos, not of people, not of flowers, but landscapes. And he had a very specific style. He focused on the harshness of those areas and almost exclusively in black and white. When we get back in here, I'll show you how to churn a photo black and white in Photoshop. So these style of landscape pictures, I want you to focus on the grit, on the textures, and no people whatsoever. I want you to think about the fact that we will be churning this into black and white. So if you do get a picture that is primarily one color, make sure you have some sort of variation that when you churn it into black and white, there's a focus there. And this asphalt, you can tell this part of the asphalt is lit up. So there is a natural progression to black. In this photo right here, the pipes are lit, and the shadows is what gives us the dimension there, the depth. This photo, we have the grass or the patch of grass and the dirt juxtaposed right next to this pattern. And it works really well together. We have the broken cement, and you can see all the different pieces inside that, and then the rebar right there. So close-ups, it's going to be important on this one. Your assignment is to get at least 3 really good shots of flowers, 3 really good portrait shots, and 3 really good Aaron Siskind style landscape. You will take more. I want you to take at least 30, 40 pictures. But in the end, you're going to choose 3 of those categories, 3 for each of those categories. Any questions?